Welcome to my madness, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be taking a look at this figure right here. This is the Super7 Deluxe Conan the Barbarian movie figure. And we're also going to be talking about Super7 in general as a company and what I think of them. And again, this is just my opinion. Some of you guys love Super7, some of you hate Super7. I kind of find myself in the middle a little bit, primarily because I see Super7 as two distinct different lines. There are their Ultimates line of figures, which, by the way, this totally is an Ultimates figure. They call it a Deluxe because it's not in the crazy packaging and it only has one accessory, but this is a Super7 Ultimates figure. So there's their Ultimates line, and then there's their Reaction line. And their Reaction line I actually like. Now, don't get me wrong, their prices are insane on their Reaction line. $20 for a 5 POA figure that's, 3 3/4 inches nuts. And I never paid that. I never will pay that. I started buying them back when they were about $10, which was years ago now at this point. And I love their IP and character selection in that line. And I collect that scale of figures. And so I still today will pick them up when I find them on clearance and stuff, either at Target or Big Bad Toy Store, stuff like that. I like picking up their G.I. Joe figures and some of their other stuff. But that's one side of it that I don't really have a problem with outside of the price. Then there's their Ultimates line of figures, which are 7-inch scale figures that, in my opinion, to just be short and sweet about it, are poor quality and poorly engineered. And what I mean by that is, if you've ever gotten one in your hands, which I have many times, the plastic just doesn't feel great. Also, as far as engineering goes, they're still using single jointed elbows and knees for most of their figures. I know they've started to kind of get out of that a little bit recently, just like this year, but the vast majority of their figures are still running with old school, like 10 to 15-year-old articulation schemes at this point, which is fine if, like me, you collect old figures. But on a brand new figure, especially at the price point, which we'll talk about, that their Ultimates line sells for, that's insane. Okay, that's insane that you're still running single jointed elbows and knees. And that's kind of been my problem. Look, I'll give Super7 credit. They've somehow managed to collect and gather together an amazing, grouping of IP and characters. I mean, they've got Silverhawks and Thundercats and, He-Man and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and Transformers and just a lot of really great IP. They've come up with some great character selection and stuff like that, which again, that IP applies to their Reaction line, which I have picked up. But yet they've managed to do it with, in my opinion, subpar materials and engineering. And then again, to get back to price, most of their Ultimates figures have an average cost of $55, which is absolutely fucking insane for a 7-inch scale figure, which in design and engineering and materials is subpar to even something like McFarlane Toys, which I'm not even a big fan of McFarlane Toys at this point, yet their stuff is higher quality and better engineered at $20 to $25 than what Super7 is doing at an average of $55. And that is why I have stayed away from this. So you're going to ask, why did you pick this figure up? Well, simple. It was on sale for $24 on Amazon, and I am a huge Conan the Barbarian fan. As a child of the 80s, I loved the comic and I loved the movie, because we don't count the second movie. We just pretend like that one doesn't exist. The first movie, Conan the Barbarian, was fucking awesome. So that's why I picked it up. So I want to crack this open and try and express to you why I don't think Super7 is a great company with their Ultimates line, and just kind of do try to do an unbiased review on the figure itself. And then also I want to do a comparison between this and my custom Conan the Barbarian figure, which I was able to put together for about $20, and see how it holds up to something like this, that if I hadn't gotten it on sale, will cost you probably around $45, I think, $40 to $45 for this figure right here. Much less if you actually got the Ultimates version of it, which will cost you $55. So we'll take a look at that. We'll crack this open and we'll kind of go from there. But I just kind of wanted to give the general rundown of my feelings on Super7, because I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not. But I don't hate them like some people do. So let's crack it open and see what we got. All right, so here we got him out of the package. I haven't done anything with him. I haven't even posed him at all. He could use a good posing. One of the first things I noticed, and you should be able to see this on camera, is so what they did with this figure was they took their regular cartoon Conan figure. I think they redid the lower body to make it look kind of like you know, the Conan from the movies where he actually had pants on, and then they just put a Arnold Schwarzenegger head on it. And what is clearly obvious on this is the skin tones are completely different between the face and the body. Like, completely different. Like, it's not even close. Like, this is straight out of the package, man. This is they didn't even change the paint job or the color of the plastic for the torso that they had used for the comic version. They just slapped a completely different skin-toned Arnold Schwarzenegger head on it for this. And honestly, the head's too small for this body. Like, they should have upscaled it a little bit. It's also kind of bouncing around. It's not on there steady. It like moves, like, but not in a way it's supposed to. Like, you can tell it's not supposed to do that and bounce around like this. But look at that skin tone difference, dude. That's crazy. Y'all can see that on camera, right? How much darker the face is compared to the rest of the body. Like, that's nuts, dude. Now I will say, just from a perspective of like sculpt, I mean, the face looks pretty good. It's pretty accurate from what I can tell, but yeah, it's way miscolored for that kind of thing. Now, as far as the articulation goes, I mean, we've got just basic old school, like, I don't know, this looks like a DCUC figure from back in the day. I mean, that's essentially what the entire upper torso on this guy is. Lower torso is slightly different, but that's basically what the entire upper torso is on this. It almost looks like the upper and lower torsos don't even go together. Like, I don't know what they did this from. This is weird too. Look at the way there's these gaps at the back where you've got this ball joint shoved up in here, but they didn't do this whole like crotch piece, right? Like, it looks okay from the front, but then you look at it from the back and you see the ball joints and stuff up in there, like old school, you know, Toy Biz ball joints from back in the day. And it's also covered in this grease. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like shiny grease on this thing. Let's see if we've got, I mean, you know, again, this articulation scheme, it's much like all the old DCUC figures that I've got, you know, basic stuff, you know, single jointed arms that only come up to right there. I mean, they're not, yeah. So, and I mean, there's, of course, his legs don't go out because it hits this overlay piece here, which is kind of rubbery. There's no, well, okay, so yeah, you've got some swivel there. You've got some swivel there. Okay. Yeah. Not bad. Yeah. Okay. Kind of like the old Toy Biz figures. So you do have swivel there. Didn't feel like it was, oh, this one doesn't. Kind of afraid to move that. Okay. It loosens up. Let's see the knees, how far they kick up. That's it. That's as far as the knees kick up. And it's not like there's anything stopping it. It's not like the calf is running into the thigh. That's just where the joint stops. And then, of course, we've got back and forth there. No rotation, but we do have pivot on the foot. You know, so that's something. Head is on a ball joint. But it, other than the movement it's not supposed to have, where it just kind of bounces around, it doesn't have a whole lot of movement. Like, that's as far down as he can look, and then that's as far up as he can look. So, sculpt's good though. I like the overall sculpt. It looks good. Like the fur on the boots looks good. He got the boots with the fur and the apple bottom jeans, maybe? I don't know. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm not impressed at all. Like, sword looks cool though. I dig the sword. Did a pretty good job on it. Very, very bendy sword. And here's the thing, is the whole thing feels cheap.
Like, it feels like cheap plastic. Again, Hasbro, McFarlane, Mattel, these companies are all making stuff that is honestly pretty cheap. Like, they make lower end collectibles, yet their stuff, all their stuff, the plastic that they use feels way higher quality than Super 7. Way higher quality. And unless you get it in your hands, I can't really explain it to you. You know, like I said, the sculpt looks okay. I hate the engineering in the hips, and the rest of the engineering is just like 15-year-old stuff, which again, if I was collecting old figures for old figure prices, I wouldn't be as concerned. I'm like, yeah, I know, I'm picking up an old figure. This is a new figure. This is like from 2024, right? Like, this thing's only a year old, and it's got honestly worse than DC-UC articulation. DC-UC has better articulation than this, especially in the lower body. But that's what you're getting here. And then the mismatched face to the torso, and there is some shading and stuff and some paint on the torso, which is nice. That's nice. I like that. And I do like the paint work that they did to the pants and stuff. Like I said, there's some good there, but overall, not impressed at all. Even paying $24 for this, I'm not impressed at all, because it just looks off. Now, by contrast, let's take a look at my custom, like roughly $20 He-Man figure, which very simple build I made from Masters of the Universe. Now, obviously this is not a movie version of Conan, right? All right, this is a comic version that I put together. I've done a video on this, okay? It is not the greatest custom in the world, all right? I'm not saying that, trust me, okay? But this thing cost me about 20 bucks. That's for the figure, materials, paint, everything that I put into this. This was about a $20 figure to put together, okay? It was not expensive at all. It wasn't. And I was able to put it together. Now, I will say one thing this figure has over this. I didn't do any shading on the muscle tone on this guy. This thing's got a little bit of shading, which looks nice. And obviously face sculpt, like mine's trying to be the comic version, so I'm not really worried about, like, being incredibly accurate or anything like that. It's just a He-Man face with a slight repaint, nothing crazy on it, okay? But, I did the paint job, did paint work on the boots and everything, and all the silver and all the touches and the hair, and put some blue highlights in his hair to make him look like the comic version, the raven-haired version of Conan. Again, not the greatest custom in the world. Very simple, very basic, but better plastic quality, better articulation, and cheaper. I mean, just point blank. Like, this thing is still better, in my opinion, than this thing right here. But, hey, customs be damned, right? Like, move that out of the way. Does this figure impress me at all, even for the $24 I paid for it? Nope. If I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't. What are the chances of me actually keeping this figure in my collection? Not much at this point. To be completely honest, not much. Yeah. I think I'm probably, next time I go through and get rid of some figures in my collection or trade them off or something, he's going to be up on the chopping block. This thing does nothing for me. Even at $24, this is not a good figure. It feels cheap, bad engineering, bad articulation. That head sculpt matching with that body is just insanely retarded. But anyway, all right, guys, let me know in the comments section down below. Are you offended? Are you a Super 7 fan that's offended that I don't like this figure, or that I just don't like Super 7 Ultimates in general? Let me know. Tell me how big an asshole I am in the comments below. But I'm sorry, you cannot look at this figure and tell me that's good. You can't. You cannot look at this and say, oh, that's a great figure, because it's not. There's no way in which this is a great figure. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you watching. And always remember to enjoy your collection.